And then secondly, I do want to say thank you to our town manager for when our WEX cards at the PD were suspended. He stepped up, gave us his personal credit card, so we were able to stay in operation for that weekend. So thank you very much for that. And in my 20 years as a police officer, all the way down through Ruidoso, you're by hands down the best manager I've ever worked with. So I appreciate everything you're doing for us.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Hey, Chief. I assume you're going to let you do it, Town Manager?
I have a rather lengthy report, but I'm going to work through it pretty quickly. I'm going to try to. The Chief of Police just mentioned the WEX card issue, and so I want to make available to all the residents and the Commission a copy of the receipts and everything and how much is owed back to me by the police department. So just please come up here and have a look at it, just because I don't ever want there to be a, what was this thing to the town manager for? So I want to put that out to the public right there. You've met Amber, our new finance director, and here's something about Amber that you may have figured out, but I'm going to tell you anyway. You never want her looking into anything, because she is about halfway forensic scientist and investigator all in one. And once we had the WEX card issue, her and I talked about the use of our credit cards and that sort of thing, and she dug into it. And what she found was kind of scary. I don't like telling you all this, but I'm going to tell it to you anyway. The town currently has 6 Signify Business Essential credit cards through Wells Fargo. They are names of former employers that have not been here for a long time and have credit limits from $1,500 to $6,000. And I'm going to make it very clear that there is no way the 4 of you and the previous commissioner could have known any of that at all, and what I'm about to tell you, because this is the nitty-gritty that Amber digs into. The first problem is that they're business cards, and we are not a small business. So Amber's looking into how we're getting rid of these, and we're going to a procurement process, a government procurement process. So the problem's going to be solved, but here's the real issue. The balances are $1,455.53, $1,996, $1,197.22, $43.99, $7,798. And that's over the limit by about $1,800. And then we come across a credit card that has a balance of $21,950.93, yet these other 5 credit cards are in the rear. So that has to make you wonder what's happening and how our processes are kind of failing us, and why we have Amber on board to solve them. And I want to show this to the public at any time, so I brought it along. It's an envelope she found labeled Library Petty Cash and Finance, and in it there is a receipt to Wells Fargo that you would detach and pay your credit card, or should be detached and paid every one of these credit cards individually, but that's not what we were doing. And I want to leave this here so everybody can see it. Our process was to take whiteout and white out some of the information. It's in a former town manager's name, which we should have never been doing, and then we just apparently pay a lump sum to this one credit card, which gives us a balance of $22,000, while the rest of them are in arrears. And so that's not the way we can do business, and we're going to continue to do business. And again, this is nothing that you 4 or 5 commissioners with Commissioner Beard could have ever known, but this is the kind of crap that we can't keep doing, and we're not going to do. And that's why I'm going to recommend to you in a moment that we separate the treasurer's position and the clerk's position and make them 2 separate entities and keep digging deeper till we get all of this cleaned up and cleared up. And I'm going to make the recommendation to you that the forensic anthropologist, archaeologist, whatever she is back there, forensic finance manager, become your treasurer. And you make that position your treasurer, and then we hire for a clerk. And I'll tell you how I propose doing that in a minute without adding any positions at all. So we're working with Wells Fargo to straighten that out. These credit cards are going away, and in fact, I think they've been canceled. But we have reoccurring charges on these credit cards. We don't know what they are to. We have no idea. And there's nothing been passed from administration to administration. And again, this is not you guys' problem. This is our problem. This is management's problem. This is finance's problem. You wouldn't have known any of this, but our practice has been, and I'm kind of on a soapbox here, and I'll get off it pretty quick, but our practice has been with these 5 or 6 cards, if Chief Frost has one of them in his name, and he runs a pretty tight card on his because he doesn't loan it out. He's a cop.
I never see it.
He never sees it. But if we're overdrawn on another card, then that person has been told, in the past, has been told to go to Chief Frost and see if they can use his card to buy something totally unrelated to the police department. And we're not going to operate that way. We can't. And I don't think the public appreciates us operating that way. I don't know. But I just can't imagine they do. So again, you guys would have never known this, but this is kind of the nitty-gritty work that your current finance manager is doing. We're getting corrected, and as she mentioned, we're putting policies and procedures in place so this crap doesn't happen again, and I apologize for the language. But I'm pretty emotional about this, because when it comes to we're not paying our bills and we're using whiteout and the town manager's having to donate a credit card to keep the police department operational for 3 days, that's not good business for a town, and we're not going to continue that. So anyway, that's that. Commissioner, you asked for Commission Chair, you asked for a report on credit cards, so there you go. The other thing I'm going to ask, and the rest of these I'll move through pretty quickly, it's not appropriate for any resident to dump their trash in the back dumpster of Town Hall. That's for Town Hall. Don't do that, please, whoever's doing that. And then I also need the public's health again. It used to be Venus Park and motorcycles on it when we were reseeding it. Now somebody has just done a significant amount of graffiti to Bassett Park. And our maintenance has cost extra money, and our maintenance people have to take the time and clean it up. Please don't do that. We're working on a new organizational chart, and all the changes I'm going to propose to you tonight in PDQs, we are not adding any new positions whatsoever. We're reclassifying and repurposing provisions. And I'll talk to you more about the separation of the clerk-treasurer. And I'm going to talk to you about the clerk-treasurer. I'm going to talk to you about a wastewater operator and training position. And then I'm also doing a work study of a couple of departments to see if the amount of people in those departments is really necessary, or possibly we can transfer around where we might need them more. We recently received a local road fund cooperative agreement for $100,000. That's a 75-25 split. And that's going to give us the start of money for Quail and Church Street to potentially be chip sealed this summer. And we're looking at a $500,000 grant. And Mary, if you're back there, I think I know where the $500,000 is, and I think I can show it to you. And I think that'll be enough to knock out Church Street and Quail if we move rapidly with chip seal this summer. And so I'm going to be asking you to sign a resolution here in a bit on that. On our Section 16 lease proposal, and that's a business lease proposal for, I have proposed to the State Land Office that everything we have in Section 16, including Venus Park, and I'm going to share this in closed session, but there's no reason not to tell you now. The land underneath the old Community First building, I'm going to try and grab that lease as well. And that building, the State Land Office has told me under no significant, absolutely not, you cannot have it. Santa Fe County has to tear it down. So, and we can talk about that more, but there's really nothing more to talk about. We're working, continue to work on a $900,000 EPA Clean Water Initiative grant that the EPA just wants us to get it, give it to us, and wants a work plan. We're trying to get that work plan done. And then on the July 28th commission meeting, I'd like to do, and the Planning and Zoning Commission would like to do a joint meeting and notice of quorum before the regular meeting, so we can so the Planning and Zoning Commission and you all can kind of coordinate with each other a little bit and maybe talk about some Robert's rules and how we're consistent between the two commission. The UNM study, Commissioner Hawley, if you're still back there somewhere, was either $5,000 or $7,000. I will look it up and get you the exact figure, but it was one of those two figures, okay? I remember that bill specifically. And finally, the other thing I'm just going to leave you with is we have a opening balance today in our general fund of $6,286,678.09. And in our impact fees of $190,473.07. And I just think I should report that to you once in a while, or if, at least at every meeting, so you can kind of monitor how we're doing. Is it going up? Is it going down? Where are we at? And our JPA fund is at a zero balance until we calculate this month's O's, now that the 500 and the 80 are out. And Amber will calculate that, and then we will transfer money from general fund specifically into the JPA fund, and then so we can check that box and see it coming into the JPA fund, and then see it headed out of the JPA fund as an ACH transfer to Santa Fe County. And that's all I have on my report tonight. I stand for questions.
Thank you, Town
Mr.
Manager.
Chair.
Commissioner Murillo?
Mr. Town Manager,
Yes,
so how much was the EPA grant for?
$900,000.
900,000?
Uh-huh.
And they're wanting us to take that?
They are. They're begging us to take it.
So we have to apply for it?
Yes, we're actively applying and creating our work plan. And some of that will be used, it can be used for Clean Water Initiative to study, propose, and I think if we do it right, it will work very nicely to help engineer transmission lines and that sort of thing through town and through our area if we need to.
And Mr. Chair, off the top of your head, have we applied to any other grants this year? Or is this the only one?
And I'd have to go back and look and see. I don't believe we have, actually. We're working very hard because there's money owed to us on Venus Park, about $500,000 that we have not we have not gotten it back. And DFA was gracious enough to give us an opportunity to provide the documentation from EnviroWorks and Dennis Engineering, and both of those firms have been working with us very hard to get us the proper documentation that we can get to DFA and through our agent, fiscal agent, Mr. Cog, and retrieve that money back, which would go into the general fund.
Well, I appreciate you, all the hard work and everything you've been working on, and
I'm scared not to with Amber behind me.
I think it's important, right, that we can't get grant money if we don't apply for grant money.
100%.
And so if we're not applying for those things, obviously it's not going to show
100%.
compared to other municipalities. So I think the simple fact that we're going to start going after these kinds of things, start applying to these different things, because I know there's been a lack in previous administrations in being able to apply for things. I know that you brought on a great grants person who's enthusiastic, energetic.
And way smarter than I am at this.
Makes coffee nervous, is very energetic, so I appreciate that.
And he and I meet daily and go over the grants, actually.
Awesome, thank you. I don't think we've been looking at grants as seriously as we should have been. Thank you, that's all I have.
Anyone else? Mr. Chair. Commissioner Brennan?